Hey guys, so for this Mercury retrograde, I wanted to help us focus in on where we need to reflect in retrospect, right? Where we need to go, and maybe that'll help us get through what we're dealing with now, or what we will be dealing with once the Mercury retrograde period's over. So I pulled some pineapple charming charms. For those of you who are not familiar with pineapple charming, he is a synchronicity pineapple. And if you resonate with any of the 4 groups of charms, then there's likely a message in there for you. And just always take it how it resonates. However it resonates for you it's meant to resonate with you that way, right? When we do public readings and stuff, collective readings, and we're tuning into generals, your intuition is going to give you the specifics. All right, with that said, we are going to get into the 4 piles. I'm just going to let each pile just show on the screen for you, so you can just kind of get a feel for the different charms that came out for each of the piles. I'll get into more details about what kind of energy I'm getting from them as I go through each one. But once you have your pile picked out, there will be timestamps in the description, and you can go and forward to whichever pile of charms that you were drawn to and get the message that you need. All right, so I'll catch you in the reads. The first pile, we have Abuelita's hot chocolate, Malibu rum, a perfume bottle with a little heart on it. We've got the sign of Leo and the 9 of hearts, which is equivalent in tarot to the 9 of cups. So you may resonate to any of these things. You may have a grandmom who's been kind of pinging at you lately. Maybe you've had different synchronicities with a grandmom. You could be from the Caribbean or somewhere around the Gulf of Mexico, right? Any of the countries that border the Gulf of Mexico, especially with the Malibu rum. The 9 of Cups is a wish fulfillment, and I'm looking at this perfume bottle, which I guess non-coincidentally, right, I'm listening to Britney Spears, a Britney Spears mix the other day, and her song Perfume came on, and she features her perfume Radiant or Radiance in a few of her music videos. And I thought of Victoria's Secret's Love Spell, so there might be a few different perfumes or smells that kind of go along with that, or a very in particular smell regarding someone that you love, right? Maybe it is your grandmom, right? And there was a very particular smell that she had, or a smell that her home had, or something like that. But if you resonate with these charms, then pile 1 is going to be for you. Without further ado, pile 1, let's get into your cards. We're going to start with what's the vibe. What's the vibe? Mercury retrograde, don't even fucking start. Don't even fucking start. Oh my goodness. All right. What's the vibe? What is the overall energy, please, for those who are drawn to the charms in pile 1? We have suffering in silence and paranoid. Unspoken desires, real feelings, broken dreams, cautious, insecure, and guarded. It's interesting because this figure here has his head against a wall and he's just frustrated, but there's an eye looking through a hole in the wall here, and it's weird because it's almost as if he's looking through the wall. I think whoever we're talking about, someone is in a situation that they don't want to be in, suffering in silence. And I think they're watching you or looking you up, or I feel like this person might be obsessively watching you. And they're paranoid that they're going to get caught. And at the same time, they can't pull away. They can't pull away. Let's get more insight into this energy. Ooh, that came right out. We got mature woman. Who else? Or what else? Thoughts. And child. Unexpected income wanted to flip up. The spirit has me stopping right here. So, someone if this is not if this is not a romantic situation, like let's just say for an example, you have estranged parents, maybe you're estranged from your parents, especially if it's like a toxic mother. It's like it's almost as if your father is thinking of you or looking you up or asking about you. Remember, this started with abuela, right? We got abuelita's hot chocolate. This started with family. That's a real possibility. And or because Leo is in your charms. If you've been trying for a child or a pregnancy, like this might be your cue to stop drinking and take a pregnancy test, because the child card with the Leo charm, like Leo rules the house of children and passion. So yeah. Now, if this is romantic, you have an individual who is thinking about you and reminiscing on you, painting you in a certain image in their mind, right? He's got these paint brushes here. He's painting her on a canvas. I feel like someone is painting you in a certain way inside their mind. Maybe at a time where you were more inexperienced or less mature. And you are not the woman that they're painting. You're more mature than that. You're more grown, right? They're painting you in an idealized way where, you know, that's pre-earning your gray hair. They're remembering you in a way that hadn't grown all the wiser from experiencing them. I do feel like this person is insecure about reaching out to you. I think they are afraid that if they reach out and you reject them, right? If they actually speak on these unspoken desires about their real feelings, if they'll leave the experience with their dreams broken. What else do we need to know about this energy? What else do we need to know about this energy, Spirit? CM or GM. Or W might be significant just because there's like scribble on the page there at the bottom. What else do we need to know about this energy, Spirit? What else do we need to know? Okay, so we got the dawn on top there. But we've got the purity, the demon, and the mask. The purity, the demon, and the mask. The purity is upright, is love in its purest form, innocent love, supportive energy, no hidden motives, it's unconditional kindness. And the demon is an energy vampire, mental disorders, trauma is kings, they're in survival mode, you cannot save them, you must save yourself, as do they. You might have been unconditionally kind to someone who was like balls deep in their demons, right? You may have unconditionally given to this person who deals with serious trauma or PTSD from life. They're in survival mode. They've probably always been in survival mode. It's all they know, right? You can't save them. You have to save yourself from them, and they have to save themselves from themselves. Like that's what the demon card is a reminder of. You know, someone's trauma is running the show. And you know, with the mask, it's, you know, buying into the false self, wearing labels as truths, hiding what's beneath the surface, the mystery of friend or foe to the self. The mask, right? Whoever this person is, they really don't know who they are. They have these descriptors or these personas to paint a certain image of who they are. Everybody would tell you that they're like this. Everybody would tell you that they're like that. Oh yeah, this person, this or that. But it's just a facade that they put on for the person who's underneath, who's hurting underneath, who's afraid underneath of being ostracized or not accepted or viewed as different, right? They just want to blend in, or they want accolades, they want recognition, they want to feel important, like whatever the mask does for them, you know. And I feel like who you are now and then, you know, like you might have even been wearing a mask back then, you know, the person that they remember you being, you may have been wearing a mask back then. You know, you can wear narcissism as a mask, you can wear empathy as a mask, right? People can come off like they don't care and they don't give a shit when they care a whole lot. And then there's people that, you know, care a whole lot until they are literally forced to stop giving a shit. Because they just want to be loved. They just want to get what they give. And they're afraid of never having that kind of love. And never being valued. And never being honored. You know, like people put on all kinds of masks to get certain outcomes. And I feel like where you were then and where you are now are very different, you know. And I think that this person who's definitely watching you and thinking about you a lot, they know that they would have to drop the masks, and they don't know who they are without them. It's terrifying, right? I think that you would meet this person with an unconditional kindness, but not because you have something that you're trying to prove to yourself that you're worthy of receiving underneath. You know, the wound, the childlike wound, is not there anymore. I feel like someone's watching you go through your glow up, or they can feel and sense that it's coming, right? With the unexpected income card that kind of flashed itself, and the dawn card being on top of that deck, the doodle deck, it's, you know, kind of insinuating that whoever this person is in your energy field, they're not in a great place. Like, I don't think that they are necessarily any different. Like, we're going to pull some more cards, get some details, but I don't necessarily feel like they are any different. Where is this person at right now? What energetic milestone type energy are they in? And I feel like whatever energy they're in, like there's a certain mirror there for you. That's why you're reflecting, because you're maturing and moving on from it. And I feel like that's why Spirit has you kind of looking back in retrospect, like, okay, this was the mirror. And my ear just started ringing. And am I officially beyond that vibration? You know, can I officially call it? You know. All right, let's see. Spirit, please. We have the Death card. This is the angel Bethesda. I think that's how you pronounce it. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But it says, when force fails, we blame God. In reality, we are angry with ourselves for not listening to the voice of God within us. This is someone who, wherever they're at, they're in deep regret. Right? They're in deep regret. They've got, you know, the Three of Swords tattooed on their chest. There's pain in their heart. Instead of, you know, wearing their heart on their sleeve, they're just wearing regret. This person had certain ignorances to their own self-sabotaging behavior. And it's like, you know, they're mad at God. Like, why does it always have to be like this? Why does it always, you know, them that suffers? Or why do they always lose everything? Or, you know, fill in the blank, whatever they're upset about and yelling at God over. It's about ego death. This person has this thing about control. Trying to control life, trying to control people, trying to control outcomes, trying to control perception, you know, like it could be highly manipulative when people want to receive what they want to receive in order to be stable. I mean, that is essentially why people manipulate. They want to receive what they want to receive because that's what brings them safety and stability. So when we deal with the Death card, I mean, that is the epitome of the 1 and the 3, right? The 13. This is about how people manifest what they want. And there is a divine way, a higher way, and there is a very forceful, egoically led way that does not yield the result that you actually want. It actually does quite the opposite. And this is where this person is. This person is trying to force and control. So, you know, this person is probably dealing with some level of narcissism, right? At the very least, they're dealing with that. The demon card, you know, talks about, you know, different mental disorders. They might really struggle. And they might, you know, be suffering with, you know, complex PTSD from different dynamic shifts that they've had in their life, whether they were familial as a child or, you know, different relationship dynamics that they've had with people. This person might be really confused as to why they are the way they are and why they can't control it. You know, a different example, a completely different example, right? A real battle that some people would have. It's like someone kind of knowing that they're interested in the same gender. And yet they're forcing themselves to be in relationships with the opposite gender to be more socially acceptable. And they're wondering why their relationships aren't working out, or why their, you know, heterosexual partners are leaving them, or, you know, whatever, why they're never satisfied, or why they're unhappy, why they can't just make it work. And it's because, you know, they're denying the fact that they want to be with the same gender. You know, it could be something along those lines as well. You know, someone's going through consistent heartbreak for whatever reason, and it's because they're trying to control the story, and it's just not that way. You know, like, Spirit's like, can you please just love and accept yourself for who you are and forgive yourself, right? Forgive yourself for all the suffering that you've kind of put yourself through in the meantime, you know, while you're trying to change your fate instead of living out your destiny. So, let's get some details. Let's just get some details specific for you. What further message may need to come through, especially if you know it's from your Gmo. For some of you, it's soul mom passed away. What do we need to know? Okay, Ace of Wands. Justice in reverse. It's Libran energy. We've got the Eight of Cups. And the Two of Cups. Okay, so they may have made the wrong call. They might have had a very sexual attraction to someone, and they moved forward towards that soulmate because of the sexual attraction that was driving them. And the way they went about it was probably up. Also the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, they were juggling. They didn't know what to choose. We have the Queen of Cups, who I feel is who they walked away from because they had a fantasy. Yeah, they had a fantasy with whoever this Two of Cups was that they moved towards. It was their wish fulfillment. That was the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Hearts from the Charms, right? They were really, really drawn to whoever this soulmate was. It probably felt like a twin flame, right? All the alchemical signals were firing off, you know, and it's like they were perfect in every way and idolized. And then the Queen of Cups was left with just a memory, you know, like a part of them died inside when they lost whoever this person was. And I do feel like there's a mirror here, you know, so this person who's watching you, you know, they may be suffering in silence, missing you, and it's because they probably found themselves in your shoes, and they're with whoever this person is that they moved towards. Yeah, I just realized the death is on the bottom. I feel like whoever that is, like, that has transformed them. That has transformed them. Give me, because the death is out twice now, so give me more clarity specifically on the death card. Got the Two of Swords, the Eight of Coin. Give me one more, two more. Or the victory they don't see. They don't see it because they're wounded. So they don't know whether to just stagnate, like they're at a crossroads. They don't know whether to end this situation because they're suffering, or if they should continue working on it. But they're strictly focused on that particular situation still. They're wondering, do I keep working at it, or do I let it go and let life transform? I don't think that they're seeing the actual victory option though, because of feeling wounded. Like they don't know if they could take a loss right now. So like there is a victory option, but they can't necessarily see it. They might even feel like you're victorious and they don't want to be seen, right? Because they're wounded. They might see you as someone who is thriving, or someone who is capable of praise and adoration from people. Like they look at you as highly valuable to public perspective or reputation. They hold you in high regard. And I feel like they don't feel worthy. They don't feel worthy. I feel like this person made some harsh on the self choices. I think they made some very harsh on the self choices. What does Spirit want to say to you in reflecting on this? What does Spirit want to say to you? As we use this Mercury retrograde to reflect on things, what conversation does the Divine want to have with you? If you've blocked someone you love, and you know you do, even through your pain, acknowledge you are doing or involved in something blocking yourself. Loosen up. This person, you may have them blocked. You may have them blocked. And so Spirit is asking you not to unblock them, but it's asking you to reflect on why you've blocked them. Not what they did per se that probably justifies why they are blocked, but what part of yourself in blocking them have you also tried to block out? Like, what part of yourself have you not given a hug or accepted or forgiven, right? Or nurtured? Like, what part of yourself that needed love at that time when you were connected to this person, can you look back and give that version of yourself a hug? Can you look back at that version of yourself and tell yourself that you're not blocking out the memory of that person because that person helped you grow, right? Not the demon, you know, quote unquote, but your version of self. That you're not going to dismiss or not acknowledge that version of yourself. That in blocking whoever that person is, you're not blocking out the part of yourself that needed to be loved and coming out of that. You know what I mean? I hope I made that clear. Make sure that your heart is open and forgiving to all versions of you. It's okay that you were that way. You can look back at it in your strength and acknowledge that you were weaker then, that you weren't as wise then, and that's okay. You're not ashamed of that version of yourself. She helped you in a lot of ways. It's just not who you are anymore, you know? And really integrating that love of self energy. So pile 1, I do hope that that helps, right? Especially if you do have someone on the other side who absolutely loves you and knows that you're going through a lot and may end up having this person reach out to you, you know, may or may not, but, you know, in the event that they do, you can trust your growth. You can trust yourself to be kind without being breakable with your boundaries, you know. Until we next meet, pile 1, take care. For pile 2, we've got Baby Yoda sipping on a mug of something, sipping his tea. We got Baby Yoda. We have a unicorn. We have a sailboat. We have the lotus or crown chakra. The world card. We have the signs of Cancer and Gemini. And the 2 of diamonds, which the tarot equivalent is the 2 of pentacles. I feel the Baby Yoda, like, I ain't gonna lie, you might legit have a kid or someone younger than you, or you are younger than someone who is too smart for their own damn good. And it's like, you know they're right, and it's just they're watching the chaos unfold. Like, if they could have told you so, you know. But they have a lot of wisdom with them, and I think it's opening up a lot of blocks that maybe someone had receiving their guidance, right? Their inner guidance, being able to receive, you know, those downloads. I do feel like with the sailboat and the world, there could be travel involved, or travel that's imminent at some point on the path. Or you're reflecting back to a time when you were traveling or somewhere other than where you are now. Especially if you've moved at distances. And then, of course, the unicorn, you know, which It's that one of a kind, once in a lifetime kind of energy, right? The kind of aura that a person has, and it's you don't come across it twice, you know. They're really rare, and they're very healing, and it's not always a comfortable healing, you know. Sometimes it can be brutal, you know, but the kind of healing that they offer is kind of awe-inspiring, you know. It's amazing just what kind of healing takes place when you encounter a unicorn. And then we have Cancer and Gemini as the signs, and then the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Diamonds, right, is really about weighing the reality against your ideal. What is the ideal? What is your ideal? And how does your reality measure up against it? How far off? Because, you know, when we're looking at a Two of Diamonds, Two of Pentacles situation, you have this choice that you need to make between going for your ideal and accepting that the reality is what it is, or settling for the reality. You know, do you go for the fantasy because the reality is not changing, it is what it is, or do you settle, you know, and brush the fantasy off as just a fantasy, and it's unrealistic, and you don't believe in it being possible, right, for whatever your reasons are, and settle. There is a very beginner's mind kind of wisdom and once in a lifetime kind of energy. Cycles closing, things moving, your direction could be completely shifting, and you might be thinking about emotions in a very logical kind of way, using your emotions as a tool, right, that your wisdom has allowed you to understand how to use, right? Because we can have all kinds of tools in our toolbox, but if we don't know how to use the tool, then it's really it's not serving us. So I think you've really maybe learned how to tune into your emotions and use them as a tool that wisdom has allowed you the understanding of how to use it, you know, how to use your emotions in a way that serves you. Without further ado, pile 2, let's get into your cards. The Spirit, what is the vibe for our Baby Yoda unicorns? What is the vibe? What is the overall energy that we're going to be reflecting on? Sipping, rumors, gossip, nosy ass people, reflecting on the tea. Okay. In regards to what? What's the tea? And we had to know it was coming. Baby Yoda is sipping, right? Fucking Baby Yoda is sipping that tea, y'all. We're sipping. All right, Spirit. What is the tea? What is the tea? What has Baby Yoda known all along? For some of y'all, this might be serious closure. Spirit might be seriously giving you the tea. Yeah, even the foreign trader trades in information. Wow. Wow. Paladin in the reverse. What is Spirit telling us? The Bear and the Hidden Truth in reverse. Okay. And the bottom of the deck is the unicorn. Love that. Okay. Person number 1. The Paladin in the reverse with the Foreign Trader. The Foreign Trader is neutral. It is a card of spies and peddlers alike. Any who trade in information are subject to the card's influence. A bargain made under this card's auspice always concludes true, but the ramifications of the pact might be shocking for those who do not understand its implications. Well, this is a deal. Trading information. This is someone. The Paladin misaligned. Okay, so listen. This person, whoever they are, they use knowledge as power. Okay? They use knowledge as power. The Paladin, and it's upright, symbolizes standing strong in the face of adversity. The Paladin does not back down under any circumstances. This card usually indicates the need to stay the course or to do what one knows is right, even if it takes a heavy toll. But if it's misaligned, such a course might be foolhardy. This person trades in information for power. This is manipulative, right? This is someone who is manipulative. They use information as a source of power, because if they have something on somebody, they could use it against them, right? It's that kind of energy. And they might even have a moral code and compass that they follow. It just doesn't necessarily make it a good one, because when we go from a lawful evil or a lawful good card like the Paladin and flip it in reverse, it turns into chaotic evil. So this is a person who is after information as a source of power for their own personal agenda. Very self-consuming kind of energy. And they don't back down from that, right? They will defend themselves and do whatever they need to do, even if it costs them, in order to gain status or power, to gain influence. The person that they are dealing with. We have the Bear with the Hidden Truth. And the Hidden Truth is reversed. So the Bear is also neutral, and it's pure strength. People often make the mistake of thinking the bear can be tamed or trained. When someone believes they have the bear under control, that person eventually learns the error of their ways. Brute force might be required here, but the consequences of its use could be severe. So this is a very powerful person. They have a very powerful personality, and they are unchanging. The Hidden Truth is a lawful good card. Flipped in the reverse, it's going to be chaotic evil. And it's upright, though. It symbolizes the ability to see past the obvious and the banal to a greater truth within. Sometimes this discovery is an esoteric one, and sometimes it's a literal find, such as an item revealed within a room. Regardless, it is a card with the power to reveal secrets. Misaligned, it can mean a secret being revealed to the subject's detriment. This person may be in denial of the truth. This person may be outright lying or gaslighting. And the other person is trying to figure it out. They're investigating. Because this second person that they're dealing with, the bear is unwavering, really headstrong. And if you try and force them to do anything, like, they rebelled simply because they don't want to do as they're being told to do. Like, don't tell me what to do. You know, like, that's their energy. Like, I'll do the opposite just because you keep telling me. They get defiant. And they stand their ground. And if you puff your chest, they'll puff their chest out even further. Like, they don't back down. They'll double down and triple down. And if they're hiding a truth or trying to keep a secret, or you're trying to keep a secret from them, like, they're going to find out too, like, whatever is going on in this situation, these two people do not trust each other. I think we could safely say that they don't trust each other. Let's see what other energy is tied into these two. Give me some more clarity on this first person, the foreign trader with the paladin. We got the crossroads. Give me one more, please. At least one more. And the infinite and eternal in the reverse. Okay. Clarify the bear. Clarify this bear person with the hidden truth. We got the alchemy set. Upright. Ooh, that is way too many. Give me one more. And the finish line. Okay. We got the rainbow on top. Okay. So person number one, stuck at the crossroads, unable to choose awakening or spiritual ignorance and ego, red pill or blue pill, indecision, feeling abandoned by the divine. God ignores my prayers. God hates me. God is unjust. It's a failure to heed their intuition. This person's stuck because they're not listening to their inner voice and they're just going off data. And if they don't have enough information, then they're not making any decisions to move forward, right? They're not listening to their gut. They're waiting on information. They're trying to find what they need in order to move forward definitively, and they're not finding it because the lesson is for them to listen to their intuition, to listen to their feelings and let their feelings be the GPS for them. Like, this is stressful, you need to leave it. You know, this is joy filled and you're at peace, you want more of that, right? They're not listening to their feelings as a GPS. They're stuck because they're looking at life and everybody in it as something rational or something that needs to be rationalized or have a reason behind it, right? There needs to be some kind of facts or proof behind the choice. You can't just make a choice because you want to. Like, you need you need a reason to leave somebody, right? Being miserable is not good enough. Person number two, we have the alchemy set. So the main ingredient turning lead into gold is time. Trusting you did exactly what you were meant to do. Letting time do the rest for now. Patience is a virtue. This person being at the finish line with the alchemy set, this is the end of their healing marathon. Your angel team is so proud of you. Major completion, achieving a self you are proud of. Whoever this person is, they were called in specifically for this person's healing, to turn the lead in them into gold. And they're almost done with this, right? They're almost done with this. And their angel team is really proud of them. That might, honest to God, be the truth that they're in denial about, because they might feel like a crappy person or a lowly person or an unworthy type person, you know, and maybe that's why their personality is so strong on the outside, because their inner world is so fragile. You know, usually people who have the biggest personalities on the outsides have the most sensitive internal space. But I feel like their time with person number 1 is coming to a close. Let's see what else we need to know about these 2 individuals, the situation. What is the overall energy in the situation? Where are they connecting in the energy? Let's get that. Where are they connecting in the energy? Where are they connecting in the energy, please, Spirit? We got the summer solstice version of the sun. This is the midhaven. This may have really sparked recently within the past couple weeks. And, or if you're, you know, catching this in divine time around the summer solstice. You are who you show the world. Believe in yourself. You are who you show the world. It's facing the reality of who you are. And do you want to continue being that? A lot of this might involve reputation as well. How you want people to see you. It might be a fear of shining. It might be a fear of not just shining, but shining, having permission to shine brighter than everybody else around you. Like, yeah, people are going to complain you're too bright, you're too much. But you're free being yourself, and they're the ones being judgy, and not necessarily just of you, more so themselves. Judging the person they wish they could be and choose not to be because, you know, whatever. This is about authenticity. This is where you guys are both meeting. Facing the reality of who you are and or who you want to be, you know? You might be reevaluating, they might be reevaluating their belief systems. What is important, right? What is priority? What is the most high above all else? You know, like what ranking do things hold, and where do you fall on that list? Because you might need to reorganize, and to be fair, so do they. Let's get some details into this. What is actually going on? What is the reality of these 2 look like? All right. We got the Page of Swords. The Ten of Cups and the Sun, now out twice. Clarities, please. Got the Strength card. The Knight of Wands. One more. And the Eight of Pentacles reversed. Interesting. We got the Magician on the bottom. Hermit on top. Double Mercury energy. Definitely double Virgo as well. Also be Gemini. And we did have Gemini in the charms. Alright. I feel that I think someone has all of the internal elements there. I think they have the feelings that bring them joy inside their mind. I think they have the vision. I think they have the desire to communicate and be open-minded. But I also feel like this person hasn't put the work in on themselves. Like this new character that's coming into light, they haven't really worked on it yet. But I can't help but feel it's like a it's now or never kind of moment. Am I right in saying that? Give me more insight into that. Am I feeling that right? Now or never? Like it's time to shine? Or shut the f up? Like, is that the vibe? Give me more insight into this, please, Spirit. We got the Fool with the 5 of Wands. The Chariot with the 2 of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, they're conflicted about taking the leap of faith. Like they want to communicate. They have a little bit of pride maybe in the way. And we have the King of Pentacles with the King of Swords. This person may have to work on their perspective first. And their manifestation, they might have financial things that they need to get in order. But Spirit's like trying to tell them to hightail it away from a certain soulmate. Like I said, I don't think these two are going to last. I think that Spirit is really pushing them towards this new self that they have to work on. Listening to their intuition, allowing themselves to register red flags. And not think that they can, you know, control it. Like there's definitely a part of them that wants to, that intuitively they know they have to let go of a certain soulmate in order to be happy. Like it's almost like they're waiting for the perfect time, or they're waiting for the fire under their ass, you know, and they just don't have the time to work on it. It's like time is the excuse. What else with this person? What else with this situation? We got the Gem. It came out in the reverse. I'll say this. Whatever the situation is between them, it is costly. There's definitely financial entanglement. And I do think this person has to work that out. I can't help feeling like I'm missing something. What am I missing? What am I missing? You may have been right about everyone else in your life, but not them. It's okay. They are different. If it's their fault, quote unquote, and you insist on blaming them, you are as good as a tree stump. Self-ownership. Ah, okay. Okay. Whatever's going on with them, I think it's very possible that by the time it's all said and done, this cycle, this journey, whatever is meant to be done, by the time all of the acts that need to be taken are done, I feel like you and whoever this is are going to end up together. And if it's not a romantic dynamic for whatever reason, then you and this person are going to be extremely close to the end of this lifetime. I think you're going to end up with this person. And not only will you end up with them in the end, it's going to be effortless. You'll be able to have like intelligent conversations with this person and have a stable 3D reality. And I think that it's going to be more about the beauty of you both as individuals in the dynamic, as opposed to being about, the couple, or the relationship. It's about how you thrive authentically with each other, how you promote each other to be the most authentic version that you can be, and that you thoroughly enjoy watching each other be that kind of authentic. I actually really, really like that energy. So, you know what? Pile number 2. Sometimes you're not wrong. I'm just going to say that. Sometimes you are not wrong. And if you were in a dynamic with someone where they were always right and you were always wrong, it was just that kind of thing, like you were at fault all the time and all of that, I think that now you're acknowledging that, like, you're not wrong all the time. Like, yeah, of course we make mistakes, or we don't know then what we know now, kind of hindsight stuff. But on the whole, Spirit is letting you know There was something you were not wrong about. That might be the truth that is so not hidden that you were in denial of. If the bear personality is kind of like you and you're near this conclusion, you know, you're near this alchemical finish line, maybe turning your own lead into gold. And this other person is really stuck, but either way, you're both being authentic. Like, maybe you're the gem. Maybe losing you was expensive. Maybe losing you is expensive. Rumor has it I think you knew all along. And, you know, don't be getting all crazy on me or this person or whatever and get all ahead of yourself. Like, just know. Like, you go and live your best authentic life. That's where you're at. That's the milestone energy. This is about you shining brighter than everybody. Be as bright as you possibly can, to give yourself permission to shine that bright. And know that at the end of the day, being with this person is going to be effortless. Being with this person is going to be effortless. They really do got to get past this feeling. They're stuck on feeling like God hates them. They need to listen to their intuition. As soon as they start listening to their intuition, they're going to tune right in. That's the only thing keeping this dynamic between you and them separate in different places in life. You know, like, that's the thing. They're not listening to their intuition yet. They'll get there. They'll get there. Spirit is working on them. Pile number 2. I hope that helped. Reflecting back on things in retrospect, this dynamic, whoever or whatever this was, maybe that's what I'm missing. Like, I keep feeling like there should be a third party, but there's not. And maybe that is the reality that the two of you are having to accept. There is no third party. There's only each other. And the sooner y'all lock into that truth, the better off y'all will be. But it's like you both need to click in. That's what I feel like is missing. I feel like there should be a third party somewhere in the energy, and there's no third party, because there is literally no such thing as a third party with you two. It's the two of you. It's just you and them. So pile 2, I hope that helps. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye. Pile number 3. We have a lot going on. We've got Cancer overload. We've got triple Cancer in the beads and a crab charm. So you may have a lot of Cancer in your chart. You may be dealing with someone who has a lot of Cancer in their chart. It could be the different Cancerian energy popping off right now. You know, especially because Mercury is going retrograde in Cancer. Jupiter is in Cancer. It's going to be shifting into Leo. But we got a lot going on. Uranus is in Gemini, so, you know, we've got a few different sign charms. Then we have the skateboard and a purple donut, which honestly, it just reminds me of, like, being down the Jersey Shore in the morning. Just being out at the Jersey Shore on the morning. Like, riding, like, even though I've never ridden a skateboard on the boards, you often will see people, you know, just gliding on a skateboard down the boards, and, you know, they have their little donuts and their different things that you can get, their sweets all along the boards. And it's like one of those things that's just reminded me of kind of beach weather. And maybe you were considered a skater kid, and maybe we're flashing back and reflecting on a time when, you know, purple might be your favorite color. You might love blackberry or raspberry flavored stuff, anything purple flavored. Right? We also have the letters J, J, Q, and P, as well as a Catholic medallion. So you may have been Catholics, are still Catholic, or Catholicism played a role in it. We also have the bat and the cat, which reminds me of Halloween, so you might love the fall or spooky seasons. We also have a stethoscope, so medical field. And then for the 3 micro playing cards, we have the Ace of Hearts, the 8 of Clubs, and the 7 of Spades, which their tarot equivalents are the Ace of Cups, the 8 of Wands, and the 7 of Swords. Now, I will say to be a little bit leery. If any of these charms resonate with you, the fact that we're getting some messages like pre-tarot and all of that, you may be really working on your sacral chakra as well. You're having an issue receiving. I think you're getting pings that someone is lying to you, or not being forthright or completely transparent. Like there's something you're picking up on, and the universe is like making it super clear to you intuitively, because it doesn't want you to deal with this kind of energy thief. Like the feelings are really important, you know, the intuition, especially all the Cancerian energy in these charms, like it's really important. You might be an Aries rising and have Cancer in the 4th house, right, with 4 different Cancer charms. So you might have Cancer in the 4th. Have significant Gemini in your chart. You might be Uranus ruled, right, or lunar ruled. But I definitely feel like there is someone that you're kind of maybe drawn to, right? Like maybe there's a chemistry there or a romantic interest there, but I think it's false, and I think you have to maybe dig as to why you're attracted to this person when they like, who do they remind you of? Even if it's like a schoolgirl fantasy. But those are going to be the charms for pile number 3. Without further ado, pile number 3, let's get into your cards. All right. Spirit. Who or what are we reflecting on? What is the topic that we are looking back on retrospectively? What are we revisiting in order to help us move forward, right? We've got Justice and Icarus. Okay. Wheel of Fortune's on the bottom. Justice and Icarus. Icarus is a special major arcana to this deck. You may be dealing with a Libra or someone who has strong Leo in their chart, or someone who is dealing with oppositions in their chart to either of those signs. All right, Aries, Libra, or Aquarius, Leo. They may be dealing with the fact that Pluto is in Aquarius, right? Whoever this person is, if they were the kind of person to defy reason, divine reason, if they were the kind of person to let their ego get the best of them, right, to fly too close to the sun, the justice is being served, right? The wings are melting and they're plummeting. If you look at the story of Icarus through a different lens, and someone was trapped in the tower under an oppressive energy that would never let them shine, that they would forever be in their shadow, this person may be seizing the moment of freedom, even if it means losing everything, even if it means a complete ego death. This person will be reaping justice for breaking free and daring to fly higher, you know, daring to be the best in their authentic path and out of the shadow of whoever it was that was oppressing them. So it's an interesting start to the read. What is the vibe surrounding this person? What is the vibe surrounding this person? What is the theme? So we got stagnant and we got family. Stuck, dead end, frozen, blood ties, inner circle. Okay. So if this is someone who, in their own ego, tried to fly too close to the sun, the universe is humbling them. They're stagnating in a family situation. And or you are. You know, take it as it resonates. You may have grown up in a stagnant family situation. You know, you get a lot of that, you know, well, let's stay together for the kids, and the family is stagnant. There's not growth happening. If anything, there is damage being done. This is the same kind of dog in pile number 4's charms. So if you were also guided to pile number 4, there might be something in there for you. Give us some more insight into this individual in the family dynamic, in the stagnant situation. Key. The key. The key is Chiron. Okay. It says the key to every door you'll ever need to open resides in the lessons you learned from your Chiron wound. Ending martyrdom, quote unquote healing others, has its limits. Watering those that water you. So this person's been going through a serious family lesson where they have martyred themselves into oblivion, trying to help others heal, trying to help others be happy, trying to help others be at peace, trying to help others be satisfied with life. But you're watering people that aren't watering you back, right? Whoever this person is watering those who don't water them. And that's the lesson. They're learning that life is sweeter, right? We've got the honey card on top. Life is sweeter when, you know, you're not hanging yourself on the cross and martyring yourself. That lesson comes with a sting. It really does. It really does. What else do we need to know about this situation? Let's get the overall energy, the spiritual energy. Where is this person at? What is the milestone energy? Well, that's interesting. I think it was pile number 1. Charms in pile number 1 that also got this card. We got the Empress, and we have another Death card. There's 4 of all the major arcana in this particular deck. And we've got Death, the Empress, and Death. So 13, 3, and 13. This is talking about the forcing, right? When force fails, we blame God. In reality, we are angry with ourselves for not listening to the voice of God within us. This is someone who has regrets, right? They've been brokenhearted. Their heart's in a lot of pain. They don't know how to forgive themselves, and so they're blaming God. They're blaming Spirit, you know, for not giving them what they want. It says when yin is acknowledged, direction becomes clear. And again, with the scales, right? The Libran energy, the Venusian energy of this Empress card. You gotta listen to how you feel. At the end of the day, you can't live life with regrets and wishing you coulda, shoulda, woulda done other things. When you finally listen to what's going on the inside and where your feelings are at, and you put that against how you really want to feel, when you allow yourself to drift or daydream about what it is that you want, what you picture in your happily ever after, like what is your ideal vision? How do you feel in those visions? Like what are the feelings? Because when you start tuning into what it is you actually want to feel, you start to acknowledge what is causing you in your life to feel against those things or opposite of those things. And you start to realize what you need to do and what you need to let go of and what you should be moving towards. This is the rebirth of the Divine Feminine. This Death card in particular. The rebirth of the Divine Feminine. Awakening the intuition, right? Awakening that Empress energy, that ability to receive what it is that you want. Whatever is going on, this person is going through a major Chiron lesson with who they're with. They're dealing with family wounds that their family dynamic growing up left on them, that they, you know, manifested a certain partner or a relationship dynamic in general that triggered them to relive familial wounds, maternal wounds, paternal wounds, like different issues that they have with their family that manifests in their partners to help them rise. This has been a very intense process for them with the double death cards. That's a lot of scorpionic energy there. Let's get some insight into what is going on. What do you need to know? What is in your highest good to know in regard to this reading? This Mercury retrograde. Got the Hierophant in the reverse. The Empress is now out twice. Lots of major arcana. My goodness. The Queen of Pentacles in the reverse with the Five of Swords. Clarities, please. Four of Cups. Eight of Coin. The Emperor. And the Page of Swords. Okay. I feel like maybe the reason this person feels stuck is because they don't believe the divine would give them a chance to live their best life. They don't believe that God would reward them and bless them. They don't believe that they'll ever receive the Empress energy, that they'll ever receive what they really truly want to receive. They don't feel deserving. I feel like the universe presents them an opportunity legit like every day to seize the opportunity to choose their blessings. This person wallows in self-pity. They lost what they truly desire in this life. What they are fixed on manifesting had already slipped through their fingers and walked away. And in order to step into the lead role, the Emperor role, they have to start over in beginner's mind with the Page of Swords. They have to be able to go back and have a conversation about it and meet the Empress on her level as an Emperor, right? To meet the manifestation that they want with sovereignty. Because I feel like if this person feels like they're not good enough and they'll never get what they want because they're undeserving, God would never bless them. If that's what they believe, they're going to have a really hard time getting out of this stagnant situation. But I think that, you know, they're meant to. But justice is going to be served regardless. You know, they can choose to stagnate or they could choose to free themselves. And either way, the outcome will be just. They'll get the outcome that they choose should they stay. And they will get the blessing of an outcome should they choose to rise and transform and reach out for it. And be the version of themselves that can hold what they want and honor it. They have to be able to acknowledge what it is that they want and honor what makes what they want possible every day. Let's pull a bit of a guidance card. It's my spiritual AF deck. Look at the fucking moon. Just look at that thing. It's lovely as AF, right? You're welcome. Look at the moon. Really, if you're having a hard time tuning into your intuition, do some moon gazing. Just look at the moon. Allow your thoughts to just drift as you look at the moon. Be aware, right, where the thoughts are. Be aware of what the feelings are that come up when you look and gaze at the moon. What feelings come up? If you're having a hard time being grateful for something too, it's like a reminder to be grateful for the little things, the things that are there every day that we take for granted. Maybe that is the biggest lesson. You know, it's the beautiful things that are there every day without fail. You don't have to worry about the moon coming up. You don't have to worry that it's not going to be there. The moon is always there. And it's making sure that we don't take the beauty in those things for granted. That we don't get comfortable in the idea that, oh, it'll just be there. Because when you forget about the beauty of the moon, you stop looking at the moon. The beauty of the moon is still there, but you're not looking at it. Look at the beauty of the moon. The beauty that is there every day without fail. Including that kind of beauty in yourself. Like, what are the beautiful things in you that you just don't look at anymore because it's just, you've been that way for so long? It's just always been there. Maybe you're brilliant and you don't give yourself enough credit. Maybe your heart is really big and you care a lot and you're deep and you don't give that part of yourself enough credit. You don't tune into it like you could. Remember the beauty in the everyday things. I think that'll really help you get into the vibration of maintaining what it is that you truly do want to manifest. How can you honor the beauty of what is your everyday so that it stays beautiful every day? You know, a garden is beautiful because it's tended to on the regular. But if you ignored the garden is still there every day, but it's going to get overgrown. It's going to get out of control. There's going to be weeds. There's going to, you know what I mean? It's going to look like after a while. You're not taking care of it. Things could die. You know, it's like, if you want the garden to be beautiful, you got to maintain it. If you want to enjoy it every day and have it be beautiful every day. So pile number 3. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Put things into some perspective for you, looking back on things. Especially if you've stagnated in relationship dynamics or family dynamics before. Or if you're dealing with one now. You know, or people that you're living with, right? They don't necessarily have to be blood family. They could be people that you have children with or people that you're living with. They're your immediate, you know, soul family. All right. Until we next meet. Bye. Pile number 4. All right. Pile number 4. You have some number synchronicities, 555 and 444. We also have some dice. So you might be considering taking a gamble, or you may have addictions, or, you know, when you see these kinds of numbers, you're feeling lucky. Like, that's the universe telling you to roll the dice. Take the risk, right? Even if you're not typically a woo-woo synchronicity, you know, type of person, but you know, for whatever reason, whenever you see, you know, numbers like 555 or 444, that the universe is telling you, you know, bet, take the risk, right? I think you're aware of that. You might be getting different messages and synchronicities through songs as well with the guitar. We have the dog charm, which just pinged me. You may have a placement specifically on the star Sirius, which is in Cancer. I think it's around 14 to 16 degrees in Cancer. I think it's 14 to 16. Maybe closer to 14. But it's around Sirius, so it might be one of those degrees in Cancer. And or you may have dogs. With the King of Clubs, who's the King of Wands in Tarot, and the Sun card, you may have strong Leo energy in your chart. You also may have Venus in Leo in your chart. You may have a challenged or afflicted Venus in Leo in your chart. Like, especially because Leo is fixed, like Scorpio would be a challenged position, right, for Venus. Because they'd be in square. We have Vicks Vapor Rose as well. You might have an allergy to dogs, or just be dealing with allergies right now in general. And I'm also, someone may have some kind of heart thing going on. Like, maybe they know they have a heart issue, or like some kind of like heart disease. They might have heart disease and think that they're just dealing with allergies, and you know, they're not maybe necessarily putting two and two together, why they're short of breath or something like that. So I'm no doctor, but if that just so happens to ring a bell for you with this specific pile, then please just look into it. Better safe than sorry. And then we have the windmill. So, you know, we might also be talking to somebody who lives out in the country, right? They might like country music. They might have ancestry in like the Netherlands or something like that, right? Northern Europe. This person, this reading may also involve having attachments to an unhealthy romantic connection. And we may need to reflect inside of a previous toxic or currently toxic relationship with pile number 4. All right. And without further ado, pile number 4, here we go. Let's get into your cards. Spirit, please, what is the overall vibe? What is the overall energy that we are reflecting on during this retrograde period to help us move forward once it's over? What do we need to reflect on in order to best move forward? What is the vibe of the read? Where's the overall energy? Okay, we've got longing, possibilities, and drowning. Archangel Michael's there. All right. Missing you, let's talk, reunion, right? Longing. We've got possibilities, follow your dreams, make up your mind, believe in yourself. Drowning, over your head, overextended, rock bottom. And Archangel Michael, protection, prevented from harm, divine intervention. Okay. I feel like you have someone who obviously missing you and wanting to talk to you, wanting to connect with you pretty bad. They're probably feeling rather nostalgic too. And they're trying to make up their mind, but they're having a hard time, I think, believing in themselves or believing in the dream that they're having with this longing. I think they're drowning inside their own head. They might literally be at a rock bottom with their life, and they're missing you real bad. They might have worn themselves so thin. You might have somebody who's literally at a breaking point. And the longing or the fantasy, right, of the possibility of future with you is the only thing that is keeping them from truly breaking. Like Archangel Michael is with them. They're safe. They're protected. But they are at a really low. Freedom, standing up, awaken. Cutting ties is on the bottom. Looked over and saw that. Let's see. What else do we need to know about this energy? What else do we need to reflect on in this? We got the midwife in the reverse and the avalanche. Okay. The midwife in the reverse. She's a neutral good energy. So when she flips, she's neutral evil. In the upright, she's a conduit to creation, although she does not create on her own. This halfling is a key that lets new life or information into the world. Her heart can see the good in even the worst situation. She can see the import of any new arrival, but if the card is misaligned, the new arrival will likely not inspire much joy. Not only do they not inspire much joy, but it's like an avalanche worth of joylessness, which is rough. That's rough. The avalanche is lawful evil. It's a disaster card. It's literally a disaster. It is an unthinking, unreasoning thing that overruns all who gets in its way. It represents physical disaster or the disaster that comes from a panicked crowd or an unthinking group or person. Ugh. It comes out with a misaligned card. It's not gonna not have consequences either. Like, whoever this individual is, like, they cannot create on their own. But it's almost like they use people in order to create what they want. They see the worst in everyone. And whatever they bring, it's like, look what the cat drug in. Whatever the cat drags in, if they're the cat, they're bringing in a fucking nightmare. You know, like, this person comes in like they're a disaster waiting to happen. This energy is a disaster waiting to happen. All right. Well, what the hell else? Why? Why is that energy relevant? The getaway. Getting out of Dodge and into self-responsibility. Getting away from toxic environments and beliefs. Okay. And I'm sure we'll get more into it with the tarot. But it feels like someone is hightailing it away from a disaster of a person. Or they are thinking about the possibility of it because they're drowning. Like, a part of them might just want to up and leave and disappear and not know how to deal with what they've created being in their rock bottom. They just don't want to feel like they're drowning anymore. The broken mind. Yeah, this is someone who has the devil right in front of them and registers with them like an angel, right? They see the potential. It says a blind empath. The manifestation of your demons are right in front of you, seeing potential, ignoring red flags. That's what got this person into this mess. That's what this midwife energy is. Like, they saw the potential in someone, wanted to bring it out of them, and the person came into their life like a wrecking ball. And now this person's like, I need to get the f out of here. I need to get the hell away from this. Like, they're thinking about dipping, like, straight up. What is the overall energy here? What is the milestone that they're moving through? Or that you're moving through, right? If this is directly resonating with you and you're longing to get the hell out of the situation that you're in. Especially if you had someone come into your life, you know, now that you've been in the dynamic for a while, it's like they came in like a wrecking ball and you just want to get the hell out, you know? Maybe you saw all of their potential and just feel like you're drowning now. What is the overall milestone energy, please? We got the Wheel of Fortune with the Star and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. This is you learning when to cut the cord. This Wheel of Fortune is about knowing when it is time to cut the cord. To shed the skin, right? Shed the old skin and leave it in the dust. If you want to change fate. You know, if you want to come up out of the dark, you have to allow yourself to champion metamorphosis and wisdom. Big time Jupiter energy. You really might be getting synchronicities with numbers. 181, ones and sevens and zeros and things like that. Like, you might be getting different number patterns. Like, spirit's trying to connect to you and ping to you, like it's trying to wake you up. Like, there's something going on between Pluto and Uranus, right? The trine going on between them right now in real time, that with Jupiter moving into opposition to Pluto, like, there's going to be a conversation that Uranus is having with Jupiter and Pluto. Uranus is going to be the buffer, but Uranus is wild. Don't be surprised if things do get cut off rather quickly. And don't be surprised if when things get cut off quickly that you're going to have to shed that old skin real fast and allow yourself to be kind of reborn, you know what I mean? Like, rebirthing the self, new version of yourself. It's the equivalent of, you know, moving to a new town that you've never been and no one knows who you are, and you could be whoever you want to be. You know, if you don't want to be the town drunk, then you're not the town drunk anymore. If you want to be the helpful neighbor, then you're the helpful neighbor now. You know, you're whatever you want to be. Give me one more before we get into the tarot. One more from the deck of many things. What may be in this person's favor, what they're up against. Gem. So there's some kind of financial gain to whatever this is. Some kind of bonus value in life. If it's not like money outright, then there's something of great value actually entering your life when you escape whatever this is that you're drowning in, whatever this avalanche energy is. You know, once you get away from that and you're not, you know, getting lost in people's potential anymore, and you're not a bleeding empath, and you're learning how to protect yourself and your value. You know, you don't just give your value to anybody. You know, if you're going to be a diamond and a beautiful, valuable diamond, then you should be giving it to someone who appreciates and honors and values diamonds, not someone who looks at it just like it's a chunk of rock and it doesn't matter and will just throw it in the drawer and forget about it. You know, like, you want someone who loves the diamond. So I think that there's a lot of potential here right now. I think that there's a split decision that's going to be made. It does feel like erasing the old self and getting away from something that's really fucking toxic. Like, you can't be close to this person because, like, the closer you get to them, it's like the more damage they do. And to keep ties with this person, they would just continue to cause damage. So, like, whoever this energy is that they're drowning with, that has to be cut off. I feel like that has to get cut off completely. Like, you gotta get far away from that energy. No more interaction. Like, it's unfortunate, but it is that way sometimes with people. Like, you just need to cut it off. And it's like, they never existed. You gotta move on with your life and disappear. All right, so we have the Four of Swords. Oh, I gotta go get a card. It went flying. The King of Cups and the Ace of Wands. Get us some further clarity on that, please, Spirit. Got the Five of Cups. And the Ten of Wands on the Four of Swords. With the Seven of Wands and the Eight of Wands on the King of Cups. And the Six of Cups with the Lovers on the Ace of Wands. Yeah. That Four of Swords with the Five of Cups and the Ten of Wands, this person has spent a lot of time thinking about, dreaming about, exhausted over how sad and burdened they are. This is a feeling of having so much that you need to do and feeling like you can't or won't do any of it right. Whatever this person's doing, if they don't get out of the situation they're in, it could start affecting their health if it's not already. The King of Cups with the Seven of Wands and the Eight of Wands. Like, they know they need to stand up for themselves. They know that the quote-unquote demons in their head are really loud. And they seriously need to come to their own defense. Their own psychic defense. They need to start more positive self-talk. That would be a great starting point for this person. The Ace of Wands with the Six of Cups and the Lover's card, they're hardcore fantasizing about this past person that they feel is their true partner. Kindred spirits, no one else but them. Really powerful fantasies. It's almost like they're trying to manifest you to reach out to them so that they can, talk to you and work it out and get away. That's not, and Spirit's like, that's not the way it's supposed to be, though. Like, they're supposed to be the one listening to their intuition and learning how to protect themselves and defend themselves and, heal themselves and learning when to cut ties and when things are over and not healthy. And, they're meant to become the solution to their problems. They're waiting for you to be the solution to their problems, so they fantasize about you reaching out to them. What is the divine conversation Spirit wants to have with you about this? Yeah. It's not your job to get them ahead, align their blessings, or drain yourself for them. Focus on you. Love yourself. As you already know, I've solved your current dilemma. Let me do what I do. Align with it. You are loved and supported always. Yeah, someone just needs to get the hell away from whoever this tornado of a person is. Wherever they go, drama fucking follows. Chaos follows. Disorder and upheaval follow. Like, wow. Like, they're a walking red flag. It's not your job to get them ahead. It's not your job to align their blessings for them. It's not your job to drain yourself for them. Like, Spirit has already solved the problem for you. You just have to align with it. You just have to align with it. You have to be willing to cut ties where you need to cut ties. Literally, like, this Wheel of Fortune is about the fates and about the scissors, right? Cutting the thread. And then on the bottom of the deck, we had the cutting ties card. Freedom, standing up, awakening. Like, if you've made bad choices and, we're playing different games, like, you just gotta recognize the consequences of your actions. If you were in a narcissistic behavior pattern and you've become aware of it and you know who your soulmate is, then you need to be able to reestablish yourself from a divine standpoint and actually go through what is like the divine legal proceedings of getting this soulmate back. If you are a self-acknowledging and recovering narcissist, someone who is recovering from narcissistic abuse and narcissistic relationships, and the consequences of that, like, if you've got to reestablish yourself with the divine and say, no, I'm good now. Like, I understand that I masked myself before and that I was toxic before. I have this epiphany and I really do wish to be nurturing and not suffer in silence like this, with these karmics that fail to provide the intimacy, the real intimacy where they run, and then they're puzzled why, people aren't who they think they are. And it's because, the boundaries, the walls were so high. It's hard to get beyond it. It's hard to get close. It's hard to feel trust when, someone has troubles beneath the surface that could interfere with your stability with them in your life. It makes it more unpredictable, and unpredictable and safety typically don't go hand in hand. When people don't feel safe, they look for ways to feel safe. And that's what people do. you know. So I hope that this has helped put some things into perspective for you, because if this is what is coming up with the retrograde, there is a reason you're moving through this, or looking back on it and reflecting in it, so that you can move forward, you know, once this retrograde period's over. I do hope it helped. Definitely pay attention to the synchronicities, and know that if someone is loyal to you, truly, you should probably reach out to them. You should probably just do it and see where that step takes you, because why not? Truly, why not? All right. Until we next meet, y'all. Bye.